live intro as always. Never know quite when we go live on this system for anyone's watching. I am off to the Masters on Monday with Rory and Your Golf Travels Rory and Coach Lockie, which I cannot wait for. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we got a live tonight. I put it out earlier. I've got the live chat going up in front of me up here as well. So we're going to look at what you guys and girls have got to say. And welcome to my new office. It is not finished yet, but you might be able to see. I'll go this way, might be better. Look, there's Gretch's Pride of Place, look, up there, and then my two pictures. And the floor isn't finished yet, and the audio will bounce around a little bit around here as well, because the carpet's not on, all those kind of things. Take me back a putter, Mark. Good to see you today, Mark. Jason, hello. Nice office, bruh. Thank you, Charlie. Congrats on the fundraising from Frank. Thank you, Frank. Hello, Ewan, as always. So look, I put a question out earlier. We've got to around 7:10. I've got 3 questions to go through. One beefy one, one middle beefy one, could be beefy one, but we'll do it middle, and one kind of slightly jokey, smaller one. But let's start with the main question tonight. This is from Rock Robin Off, which is a hell of a screen name there. If that is you, I see you on my Twitter line quite a bit. Thanks for taking part. He is saying, this is a good question. I like to hear you speak to the psychology of playing good golf. Is sporting form fleeting, or can we cultivate it? Why do I, and then in brackets, and every other player at every level, sometimes feel like we are going to execute well, and other times feel like we're going to fail and do so? So Rock Robin Off, that is a hell of a name, is really talking about form, and I've actually made a few notes on this one because it's a very complicated subject. It's a question that I have been asked hundreds of times through my career by thousands of different people. It's such a common question. So let's get into it. Just before we do, Ricky Gallagher there says, cross my bar challenge. Once you finish the live feed tonight, if you haven't seen the crossbar challenge with Gareth Bale, it's gone up on my channel earlier, you have to watch it. It's ridiculous what a certain person sat in this room does in Gareth's garden in front of Mr. Bale. Educational for everyone. Check it out. Right, I made some notes. So is form, can it be cultivated? Can you control it? Is kind of what he is asking there. The first note I made to this question is, this question cannot be answered, I wrote, is my first note. I'm now going to try and answer it. And obviously you guys and girls in the comments, let me know what you think. Can it be cultivated and all those kind of things? Can form be controlled? And you know, you've all had that feeling of, feeling like you're up for it and that it's going to work, and it does, compared to then when you kind of go out and feel like it's not going to work, and then obviously it doesn't. And you relate that often to your form and your feelings. For me, so the first note, which is trying to answer a question that can't be answered. The best way to control it is with solid teaching. And that's how I always grew up playing. For me, it was about controlling any anxieties, any issues of performance in situations. So in, like, compared to a club event, to a county event, compared to, say, an international event, it was... I'm just going to turn my mic down a little bit. Someone's asking if the mic needs to go down a little bit. Let me know if that's better, if it was a bit loud. No acoustics in the room. I always relied on good technique to see me through, and that then made me feel confident. So good teachings, what you'll see from my swing, which I felt at the time was kind of solid foundations, neutral grips, setups, hitting pretty textbook positions, which was all the fad when I was being taught in those days, in those years. So I would use that kind of idea to rely on not feeling particularly nervous in events, and then also using those nerves in different events to help me play to a better ability, to help me play to that kind of look, if I went out and I didn't feel nervous, basically, if I went out and didn't feel nervous, what happened is I didn't care enough, and then form was kind of became irrelevant a little bit. So for most people, what happens, which I think is really interesting, they relate it to form. So they relate how they're playing to their form, where actually I would relate it a lot more to their strike pattern. So just think of how shot gained statistics are gathered. So if I hit a ball to 10 foot, I'm going to hold that putt a certain amount of times. Now, a less skilled player is going to hold it less times. But that doesn't mean they're going to come spasmodically. They could hold 7 in a row and then miss the next 20. Where I might hole 6, miss 4, hole 6, miss 4. So they're going to relate their patterns of form to how they're feeling, where actually those patterns are consistent. They're just consistently moving on that hole 4, miss 20, hole 4, miss 20 kind of pattern. And the same with tee shots. If you think about my tee shots, I'm going to hit more fairways than I'm going to miss. So you could argue I'm always on form with my driver, but I'm still going up and down with emotions as I play with that club, compared to someone like Coach, who's going to miss maybe more fairways than he hits. So when he hits 3 in a row, that surprises him. And then what he thinks is, oh, I'm playing well today, or I feel better today, I feel good about myself. Well, no, he's still only hitting 3 out of 18 fairways, let's say. But sometimes they come in all in a row. Sometimes they come every 5 holes. Sometimes they come every 18 holes. Sometimes they come every whatever. So you see what I mean? It's your patterns will always kind of come through. And quite an interesting way of looking at it. If you think about people like Tiger Woods, clutch putters, we could call him, Jack Nicklaus, fantastic clutch putters, and I've said it in the past, clutch putters, which you could kind of agree with. But also at the same time, if you look at their putting in the situations where we don't get to watch them, so say on the putting green with their mates, playing with their kids, they probably still hold the same amount of putts that they do when they're in those big events. It's just they come at the right time, so the clutch times, because that's their pattern of strike rate, that's their pattern of success, if you like. They're going to hold 10 footers, let's say they're holding 7 out of 10. Well, there's a good chance they're going to hold one at the right time, isn't it, compared to your 24 handicapper who holds 1 out of 10. Chances they've got of holding one at the right time, so clutch, if you like, it's going to be much more reduced, isn't it? So I think solid teaching and what have you will reflect your emotion stroke form. Let's see what the chat room's saying. Is there such a thing as luck in golf? Well, that's a good question there from Adam Dodds. So my next point would be dealing with the issues you will always face as luck plays its part. So obviously you can control how lucky or not you are, but luck's always going to play its part in a game where a ball is bouncing on Mother Earth. And there's winds and there's animals around, there's spectators who are moving. There's always going to be some elements of luck. So how you deal with those elements of luck can play their part as well. As in, if you get upset every time luck doesn't go your way, then again, your emotions are going to change, and then you're going to think, oh, I just can't see this anymore, I'm not feeling this, this is not my day, all those kind of ideas, and you're going to relate that to your form dipping, where actually maybe your form is always, like I say, going in and out. It's just when you have a situation where it goes against you, you're not very good at remembering all those situations maybe where it helped you. Let's have a look. Parfield, more like crossbar field. Let's see if anyone's got any great videos. Huge fan, Derek. Thank you, Derek. Where it matters, I play worse than when I don't care. Golf scorecard plus. So that kind of reiterates my points. And my final point on this subject, before we move on to others and tackle any more questions around this stuff, is it reflects your expectations too, doesn't it? Your idea of form reflects your expectations. So expectation management is so important. MEDAUGH is saying there, which is absolutely. Why does one bad hole always follow another? Scott Johnson. Do you know what I mean? It's these kind of cliches that people are kind of building around. It's like Matt does it as a joke, but there was a stage when we were playing. His driver was all over the place. He hits a good driver for pink tee. He says, "Oh, it must be the tee." He's joking, but like there are some people who would almost believe that. They would kind of run with that as an idea. I mean, we see Rory. Think about this, Rory, who we play with, your golf travel Rory. When he tees his ball up, I grab a ball here. I got a ball in here. Yeah. Here we go. He lines up the line like down the middle of the fairway. He like points it where he wants to go. Me and Matt look at each other. I mean, you see now left and right he hits it. Like, I mean, that's giving him peace of mind more than it's actually helping him. It again goes back to my main point, which is the first one. This question can't be answered, but my second main point. This comes down to solid teaching, because Rory has issues in his technique. Relying on that, you know, let's waste some time or spend some time on trying to fix that technique would be a better option than thinking this on a tee shot delivery is really going to assist you in any way. So I think that's interesting. I like your discussion around the pricing of Scotty putters. That's a different point. I try not to let bad shots get to me because I know I'm not good enough, so I expect bad shots now and again. Gary. Yeah, I mean, again, that's my last point on this subject. You do have to get your expectations in check with this game, and I see a lot of golfers through my years of playing not managing expectations at all, not giving golf the respect it deserves as a very challenging, mentally, physically, and just technically, it's a very challenging game. People come from other games where maybe, certainly football and games like that, and they don't quite respect maybe how tricky golf is because of its many different disciplines as well. So obviously from putting to chipping to long shots to iron shots to bunker shots to match plays to stroke plays, you know, there's so many different disciplines. Timothy is saying office is looking good, bruh. Thank you. Rory should take more care lining up his on the tee, James Bond says. So I think he should take less time lining up a ball that is round. He should spend more time trying to deliver the face. Would probably do him a lot of good. He must be cross-eyed. What was that one there? Sorry, one other good question there. I agree, the same thing happens. I only have played for 1 year and 3 months. I've scored 80 on par 72 and don't pressure myself as much as I used to. And I've seen this from students saying, and I've actually tried to do it with a couple of students, and it was very quickly that we proved them wrong, if you like, where they would say, in this situation, I perform worse than in that situation. So what I would do is I would get them to hit shots on a launch monitor indoors, which is far removed from the situation they're complaining against, monitor their strike rate. So how many drives are missing left compared to right, how many go over X distance, how many draw or fade, like really digging deep into what kind of shots they hit. Same thing, and what I was finding with most students I did it, what we saw indoors did reflect their patterns outdoors. Now there were some things that affected them. Wind would often throw them. If the ball was running or not through them, because they would want to put different pressures on themselves to hit it harder or not, things like that, which is where the kind of on-course lesson compared to the dry course, kind of dry ball data lessons need to be thought about a bit more. But the patterns were similar. Because I mean, I used to get lessons who would say, you know, come and hit shots in front of me first time on lesson. They talk, oh, I don't hit the ball like that normally on the course. I think, well, come on then. Let's go out there. Let's go and see what you do. And they did play them. They were just not seeing them. They were either ignoring them. Oh, I don't do that all the time. I'll hit this next shot. Or what they were doing, because they were hitting a cut that was hitting the right side of the fairway, they weren't seeing it still as that left to right kind of tee shot that we were seeing indoors. Because they were much more affected or influenced by where it finished than actually seeing that shot, which kind of reflects to one of the daily vlogs me and Dan did recently, where we talk about seeing the shot. So can you cultivate form? I don't think you can. I think you can to a certain extent by working as hard as you see the top players work. So they will try their hardest to cultivate form. But what you'll tend to see happens all the time on tour is you'll see the same players. So I remember, was it 2 years ago, might have been 3 years ago, where Adam Scott won like 2 or 3 events at the start of the year. Then didn't really win much else. Everyone has their little purple patches, but they find it very hard to keep them going, apart from your players like Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and some others, Arnie, those kind of people who have those lengthy careers where they can just keep winning and winning and winning. But those players are so rare because those talented, technically successful, functional players are really hard to come by. They're not going to leave it to luck. They're not going to say it's to do with form. They will have dips and peaks in their form, but they're not really that much in control of them. It's just their dips and peaks are higher than the next equivalent player's dips and peaks, almost, I would say. How about Eamon Darcy as a swing model? Mark Herring, yeah, well, he was a great player, so I would use it. Let's see if there's any other questions on that before we move on to our next question. What are you most excited to see at the Masters? We'll come to all that. 39 Coconuts, a great name. When next week, when I've got lots of Masters and hopefully coming out subject to timings and things like that. Okay, so we move on to the next question because we are going to run out of time otherwise. But post comments down below. Do you think form can be cultivated outside of the points I've made there? I'd love to hear. Post those comments down below as always. Next question is from Jonah. How to choose what golf club to join? Got a few choices from can't decide. So Jonah is asking, how do you choose what golf club to join? So let's see in the comments, to kick you off, how many of you in the comments are members of golf clubs and how many of you in the comments are not members of golf clubs? I know you're slightly behind, so that'll come through in a second. But let's see how many of you are members and not members. When it comes to joining a golf club, you've got to decide what you feel you want from it. And I'll list some of the criteria in a second. When we see any of the comments. Nope, Luke is not a member of a golf club. Luke hates golf. First in there, Luke, well done. So some of the criteria, not a member, David. Ewan is. I'm looking to join one soon. I'm going with the one I'm most likely to get in, Jason. So he's picking it on which ones he can get in. Okay, quality and price. My time active. Member, not. Oh, it's going very fast. Member, not member. Member in New Zealand. I'm not. I would argue it's probably a 60 to 70% on here split member to not. In the comments, I'm going to list mine now. What are your what's your criteria for joining? So I'm just going to mute this so we don't get another email notification. My criteria for joining a golf club would be like this. The course. I would want the course to be to a certain standard, and you got to think about standards per different times of the year, when it's dry, when it's wet, when it's cold. So at the moment, links courses seem like the best places in the world because they're dry and we can play them, where the Parkland courses are all struggling with the amount of rain we're getting in the UK. Then I'm going to look at the membership. So age of the membership, what kind of competitive edge of the membership got? So are they winning events that I want to play into club games, because if I want to play in those. So the club I joined at when I was younger had a good junior section. It had juniors who played in the men's team. It had a junior who won the English Amateur. So it had a very proactive base of players with some very clear paths of someone who was competitive and wanted to do well at it that I could follow if I wanted to go and play Devon golf and international golf, things like that, which I kind of did. I followed the paths that were laid down by those great players in front of me, where it was very obvious that some of the other local clubs and the ones who didn't have those people in their clubs, some of the good players didn't progress on because they didn't really know that they could move on because the club didn't really open those other events up to them. So quality of the course, what time of the year is, you can play it, if it's all year round in this country, what kind of and what quality they're playing to, age of those members, proximity to me as well. I was a member of a club that was like 12 minutes away from a house drive, and I also I joined another one which was about 35 minutes away, and it was just so much harder to go to that one than the 12 minutes one. It was always, if there was a choice, I'm going to go there, it's closer, it's easier, those kind of things. People in the comments, what have we got? Facilities, medals, winter course, organisation and cost. Absolutely, cost is definitely a factor in Devon. Slightly different. It was always, most clubs were kind of set when I was joining at a similar price, and then we had a couple of top ones or one top one come in, and then there was some lower ones came in as well, made it more accessible for more people. I refuse to be part of any club that would have me as a member. Bogey 911. I well maintain one is key for me, then price is high up there as well. Paul Batchelor. So I remember playing in international events and national events where you'd get to all the home counties and you'd talk to them and their parents, if it was a junior one, or them if they were else, what they used to pay to be members. And there were some pretty expensive golf clubs compared to old leafy old Devon here. I live next to the 9th hole during the summer, so being a member, yeah, close to home helps. 4 municipal courses at Aberdeen, very decent too. You're not watching the boxing Parfield? No, I'm not really a boxing fan. 2 questions about, is Coach sponsored by Callaway, and what shape shot do you mainly hit? I hit different shape shot, and Coach does have a relationship with Callaway, yes. I'm teaching at the range, I'm excellent. So there you go, there's my list. Post in the comments what your list of criteria would be for joining the club down below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button as well if you haven't already. It helps me out. And definitely there'll be more lives coming if you show me that you like these lives in those comments down below. Again, this is me just trying. I've got a new internet connection, it says here as well, so I'm that, as well as showing, oh, I'm just excited to be in my new office, even though it's not finished. Right, we're going to do the last question. Hey, Mike, I play regular, don't improve, but if I get 2 months break, I play well. Any reason for this? 2 months break, I play well. If you get 2 months break, you're probably practicing more, aren't you? The course. Simon Harvey says the course is the main reason. A course with all par 5s reachable is 2 is good as well. Ask Golf Nut says, yeah. So length of course, absolutely, is one of those things that might choose you to join one club or another. Right, last question. This is a good question. This was from Rory Anderson. Can we talk about which of the 4 Muppets are going to Augusta and which one are not? Brutal comment there from Rory. There's a few points here. So he wants us to have a little dig at Dan, which we'll do all week. So me, Rory and Coach are going to the Masters. Hooray. Dan is not. Poor Dan. But he has a busy shop to look after and all his members at Torquay. He can't be gallivanting away in the sun at Augusta around one of the most beautiful courses you'll ever get to see. In the sun, playing some great courses around that area and just taking in the first major of the kind of, you know, he can't be doing all that. Next point, there's only 2 Muppets. The other 2, surely the other 2, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're friends to the Muppets, aren't you? Assistants to the Muppets. You're not, there's only 2 Muppets. I'm not sure you play with the Muppets. Post comments down below. Surely that's how it works, isn't it? There's only 2 Muppets. Rory and Dan are like just friends to the Muppets, aren't they? But yes, Dan isn't going. Can I take Dan's place? Mark, get up on the plane there. Jamie McKenzie is asking, how important is it to have a ball fitting bra? Good question. Correct. Ewan says correct. Hello everyone, says Slot Queen. Hello. Ball fitting is important. I would never do a fitting without the balls that the player uses, which kind of shows you how a ball fitting can be important. But also, like I say, with all the fittings, a ball fitting can be a great educational way of you learning about what suits you and what can be built around your delivery and what can't. So use it as a lesson. Go and have a lesson and speak to a coach about it. Don't go to someone who's just going to try and sell you some balls, because that's not a ball fitting, is it? That's a selling opportunity. Go for a lesson for someone who can give you a lesson around what ball might make a difference for you. 4 Muppets, says James Bond. Not sure. Rory is not a Muppet. #7 Wade Griffiths. Is the Masters really that great to visit as it seems to be? Bjorn, yeah, it's... Well, I'll do some videos on everything about it next week. Check out them. You'll get some good insights into what happens and what it's like to go to that major. I always fit using the client's ball. Only way to do it. Ask Golf Nut. Absolutely. Where can I find a hat like Dan's? Dan sells them. Ewan says Statler and Waldorf, which is the 2 Muppets. 3 Muppets and D'Artagnan. No, there's 2 Muppets. Rory is a Fraggle there. Alright, so the comment section has gone, banter makes you all Muppets, from Nice One. There you go. I'm not sure I agree with that, but good comments. There you go. Thanks all for watching. There'll be loads more lives. I'm quite tired, so maybe this one hasn't been my most energetic one, but hopefully some points made to help you get some ideas of maybe when you come to join a club, or if you are thinking of changing, or some of the aspects or some of the points I would use to rate if I should join a club or not. And also post your comments down below. I'd love to hear what your ideas are on the form one. I think my first answer is still pretty up there. This question cannot be answered because it's forms, it's a feeling, isn't it? It's so hard to measure feelings, isn't it, really? Because the data capture has to be so big for it to work, and no one's really got the time to do that, because by then you've all changed form and emotions and you're on to the next question a little bit. Post comments down below, hit that thumbs up button, or if you haven't already, thanks for watching, and we will, I'll speak to you all soon. I will see you all, because I'm in America on Monday. I go on Monday to the Masters, thanks to your golf travel, but subject to time differences and upload, I don't know when I'll next speak to you, so it might be Tuesday, but you'll catch up for Monday as such. I'm filming Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and whatever. Loads of great content. Got my content ideas here. Content coming at you the week of the Masters. Thanks all for watching. Have a great evening. Speak to you again soon.